Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Burning Roar podcast. I'm Jake Scarborough, joined by my co-host Fidel Fabian and Josh Miller. How are you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Man,
Well, us three have a lot to talk about this week. Um, let's rewind. How many weeks ago was it? 2 weeks ago that this happened? Three, something. The Indy
Hey,
Road
yeah,
Course.
3 weeks ago at this
Yeah,
point.
Indy
what
Road
was it?
Course
Oh, the indie
NASCAR.
guy.
Very controversial with the finish, with the race as a whole. Regarding Cup at least.
I mean, it was still a good race.
Well, yeah, but what's your guys' takes on it?
I
Good,
think
but neutral.
no
Oh.
dog. I think that fun races like that need to happen every once in a while. We can't just have these picture perfect fluid racing like we always get. We need something to go crazy, and that's exactly what we got.
Fabian.
Yeah, I love the racing. It just reminds me of some. It reminds me of a bit of some good old short track racing at your local mile and a half, but half a mile. All the bumping, the banging, everything was perfect. Obviously, the curb and the chicane was destroyed, and that kind of ruined the finish of that race. Without that, I give that race a solid 8 out of 10.
So, my opinion on it is I do think they made the right call after the Xfinity race to remove that bump that was there because of IndyCar off to the side. Um, the initial chicane itself, that was like the problem for both series. Um, honestly, aside from that, besides the one crash where it looked like, you know, where half the field crashed and Joey Logano was in a tire barrier, all that. I mean, as Josh said, yeah, it's a fun race, but at the same point, it's also a safety thing. So, like, my whole idea is the only way you can really make that better is by altering the chicane or just taking the old F1 like horseshoe that's off to the side. And that's how you fix that issue. But as for the race itself, I thought it was, good to watch, especially the little finish we saw with Chase Briscoe just dumping Denny Hamlin and
Oh,
AJ
absolutely goated.
AJ Allmendinger stealing the win just like that.
I mean, it's just the way Denny's year goes.
Still no wins going into the playoff. Finished second in the regular season.
Every chance he's had to win a race, something has to go wrong. So, what next to just get dumped by a dude who's under penalty?
True. Well, next one to review would be the F1 race this past. I don't even know whether to call it a race. It wasn't a race.
The Formula 2 pace laps.
the two pace laps that ran the qualifying order beside Sergio Perez set the grid because Perez wrecked it. The race never happened. A lot of fans are mad that they had to wait there for 4 hours and, kind of just sit and be mad. People are also mad at the fact that F1 didn't reschedule the race to be the following day when they literally just arrived in the Netherlands today. So that shows how fast they need to move around. So that's why they have a rule in place for that. But lots of salty fans. I don't know. I don't even know where to touch on it besides the George Russell podium being fantastic. What about you guys?
Maybe you can go.
Alright. My opinion, the worst Formula One Grand Prix of all time. I
2005.
think 2005 does exist, but 2005 had racing at least. There were cars going at full speed.
I think that's
on
what
the
makes
track.
it worse. They actually attempted a race and still couldn't get one.
Are you talking the USGP?
Yeah.
Tire Wars.
Yeah. No one wins and everyone loses.
Oh, I was trying to look something up and I typed in 2005 instead of 2021. Because my point is the only other thing F1 could have really done in that situation is just move Spa later in the year and then make something else like a doubleheader, I guess.
True.
But I mean, even that's a stretch.
Well, we also have that vacant spot after Saudi Arabia. That
It's before. It's after
it's before.
Interlagos.
But yeah, you still have that vacant spot, which we still don't know the track. And if these other tracks have stuff scheduled, then whatever you make that track, just make that the doubleheader. And find something for
yeah.
Spa.
I do think they already have a track confirmed for that weekend, but they're just not ready to announce it yet. They probably have still a couple more paperwork to go through, trying to see if the government in that specific racetrack will allow it.
My
And yada,
opinion, it's
yada,
going to be
yada.
the Indy Road Course. Funny that John
Most likely.
mentioned it. I don't know if it's because what Turkey got canceled. So
No, Turkey's there.
Oh, Turkey is back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, it will probably end up being the Indy Road Course, and if anything else, what is it? Qatar is the one that they were eyeballing.
I don't know.
I think it was. But even aside from that, back to the spa topic as a whole. Well, hold on, Fabian. How could you really call that the worst Grand Prix ever if it never even happened? Really.
It technically did with the 2 laps because the FIA won.
Okay, but if you want to say it's the worst ever, do you think that the FIA could have done something?
Possibly. I mean, from earlier, they could just move that Grand Prix over a couple of weeks down the line. They have a couple of off weeks from in between races. They could have done that right there. They could have refunded some of the fans. Actually, I think all the fans.
Oh yeah, they didn't do refunds, did they?
That is true.
They didn't do refunds, did they?
No, they did not.
That is
true.
That's some bullshit.
I mean, if you want to take the
thing for the 05 Indy Grand Prix.
If you want to take the entrepreneur's perspective, you saw the winner.
True. But still.
But yeah, that's pretty trash.
I did see people online trying to combat that, saying, well, they get to see a Formula 3 race, they get to see a Porsche race, just take that and go home. But that's not specifically the race they wanted.
Yeah, no, most people buy the F1 ticket for the F1 race. That's like buying, an IndyCar ticket and the race getting canceled, but people say, well, you got to see Indy Lights, you got to see the Porsche IMSA Challenge, you got to see the Mazda Miata series. It's like, no.
You get to see little kids go around with go-karts.
That's like buying a ticket for Texas and seeing Kyle Busch dominate the lower 2 series, and then the big series gets cut off after 50 laps and everyone goes home until Wednesday.
Or that,
totally
yeah.
Not a real thing.
That works too. But I don't know. Spa could have been handled totally differently. I think we're all in the same boat about that.
I think George Russell podium is the best thing that could have come out, though. So,
well, yeah. I think
that
I
and
think that's
Vettel
the only thing that. Wait, what?
Continue. Oh, I was saying another good thing is that Vettel snuck into Haas.
Oh yeah, they were playing football in the garage.
Soccer.
Soccer.
No,
football.
Nope.
Where they are, it's football.
Well, actually, it's probably something completely different in Belgium. So.
Okay, fair enough.
At least Max closed the gap.
Yeah, true. He's got 0.5 points now.
Let's go.
But I don't know. Besides that, the other races that took place, we can start off with the Xfinity Series at Daytona.
Good race.
Bad racing, but good finish.
What did you say?
Bad racing.
Bad racing, but
What?
good
What do you want from a
What?
plate track?
You got a good
Yeah,
plate
anyway.
race.
There are
The
two
Xfinity.
things. There are two things you can get, or three things that you can get at a plate track, and we got the one in the middle. You can either get single car training, which we did not get, or you could get 5-wide massacre, which we did not get, or you could get this kind of fluid 2 to 3 wide racing for a majority of the race until everyone goes batshit crazy, and that's what we got. That's a perfect example of not training, but you're also not wrecking every 5 laps.
True, but I feel like the Xfinity race could have been better. The finish was amazing. I love the 3-wide finish. But stages 1 and 2 were just a snore, except for the couple of wrecks here and there.
Well,
But the Cup race, that was something.
The cup race we'll get to in a second. The Xfinity race, my opinion, it was a good race. It
was a
wasn't
very good
terrible. It wasn't the best, but it was a good race. It's one of the best, plate races we've seen in a while for Xfinity, in my opinion. And then to get a 3-wide finish with Colleague, that was cool to see. I don't know about you guys.
Despite one of them finishing 4th.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
it should have been a 1, 2, 3, but you take what you can get, 3 wide across the line, that's cool nonetheless, with Justin Haley getting the win. What's kind of sad is AJ finished second in every stage.
I was very worried that Collie was gonna
Wreck
do the
each
same
other
thing
again.
like last time. Yeah.
Ross Chastain had something to say last time they were put in position. I get a 1, 2, 3. Or is it just a 1, 2? I don't remember. No, it was
I think they were 1, 2, 3 because Ross
Yeah.
took out AJ and then Haley snuck through.
That's right.
It had been an awkward Monday.
Anything else to add in to Xfinity?
Justin Haley is the next Brad Keselowski.
There needs to be harsher penalties for people driving on the racetrack while leaking oil. That's all I have to say. That's not from this weekend at Daytona from the Xfinity. That's from last weekend and also the Cup race at Daytona.
Okay, we'll add that into the Cup race. Hold on. Who leaked oil in the Cup race?
Tyler Reddick.
That wasn't oil.
That wasn't oil.
That was oil.
It wasn't
They were
oil.
yelling at him. It was. They were yelling at him to stop under the red flag.
No, they were yelling at him to stop.
Yeah, they were
under the
yelling
red
at him to
flag
stop under the
because it
red
was
flag because he
unsafe
was
conditions. It was like they didn't want a one Pablo Montoya incident happening.
Right. The only reason why his car was even smoking was because he punched the radiator.
Yeah, that wasn't oil. That was just like all the liquid coming out of everything, basically.
But oil.
Okay.
Okay.
Justin Haley's the next best plate racer in the Cup Series. Him and Ryan Blaney will have fun battles.
Puts up the closest finish in NASCAR history.
First ever tie for a race.
Oh my, don't even. They will I don't want to know how a NASCAR tiebreaker would work for a race.
If
They
they
would-
tied,
If two people tied for a race win, I don't want to know how NASCAR would judge that.
if I was NASCAR, I would give it to the guy who started further back because, like, technically they would have had to make up that ground.
Well, to me, it's just like that's where you just have, your tie. I don't see a way that you could really,
But I don't think that's even, like, physically possible.
I mean, it's possible, but the chances of it ever happening
I don't think so. If we go down to, like, literal millimeters of a splitter, I don't think it's possible to get two cars. So, like, you couldn't even line them up if you tried.
Unless they were the same manufacturer and same team, and, like, neither had front-end damage.
Well, even so, like, if you got two people in a car and said, hey, line up your splitters at this exact line, it would take a long time to do that.
But the fact is, it's possible, but the chances of it ever happening maybe never.
Or slim to none.
No, I wouldn't even say slim. Just it's like you get the 0 point and then add like a million zeros, and then you have that one at the very end.
And plus, with electronic scoring, it's even less likely because if you miss it on a camera, you can still get it through the timing.
True. Well, even then, how do we go to the? Oh yeah, because Justin Haley, Ryan Blaney.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Cup race. I don't know.
Sad.
Okay, well, how do you think I feel?
Hey,
Our drivers,
Well-
our drivers kind of got involved in the same wreck and kind of.
all of our drivers.
Okay, Mr.
Well, your
Kyle
driver
Busch fan.
sucked all race. I don't want to hear it.
What do you mean? Kyle was leading for a bit, but he was
Or
leading.
under pit cycle. Yeah, when all the Fords peeled off, that's when he took the lead.
Ford
No, it was.
power.
I think it was like Bell who was leading for a bit, and then Kyle took the lead.
Okay, well, all the Fords. were
Anyway, he
gone.
wasn't leading with 4 to go.
Well, yeah, because Elliot decided let's do a double block on Dibby.
I'm gonna make my
It was
point
a
across.
racing
I'm
incident.
gonna make my point across with that here in a minute when I get to talk.
You can talk.
Okay. Well, race as a whole was, it was good for a plate track. One of the other things could be better, could be worse, that type of thing.
I think the package did exactly what NASCAR wanted it to do.
But now we don't know how the next gen car is gonna be.
No, we don't. And
And I love how they figure out how to make plate racing work with the Gen 6 again, and then they do this. We get a new car.
If they mess up plate tracks, I'm gonna be a bit angry.
Plus, the rear bumper on the next gen car is rounded, so bump draft.
Oh, great!
Yeah, and then you've got the rear diffuser and everything. It's gonna be beautiful. Yeah, the front ends on every car's rounded. The rear end on every car's rounded. We're gonna have people spinning left and right. But
I think it's just. I hope it's not gonna happen. But I feel like we're gonna have another 2013 500.
Okay, you get out of here.
I don't remember that race, honestly.
No.
Single file. That's all you have to know.
Yeah.
No, if anything, I feel like we're gonna get more of a shit show than a single file.
We're gonna get some. What year was it at Dega when Kenseth and Buescher flipped?
16, the 16 spring race.
Okay, that's what we're gonna get. That's something we're gonna get.
I mean, that race is pretty cool.
Well, no, you're gonna get people wrecking nonstop, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm saying it's more likely, or like the final 20 or so laps of the 2018 500.
True.
Or the final 20 laps of the 2019 500. Or the final 20 laps of the 2020 500. Or the
what?
Or the final 20 laps of the 2021 500. I was creating a pattern.
Oh. Okay, never mind. Well, anyways, like, regarding Daytona, the race this weekend for Cup. Yeah, good. Could have been worse, could have been better. Same thing with Xfinity, in my opinion. But regarding probably the most controversial thing, probably because both fan bases are so goddamn toxic.
Ooh.
The Chase Elliott, DiBenedetto incident that caused a huge crash. Here's my opinion on it. We look back at the Daytona 500 this year. If you're blaming Dibby, would you blame Brad Keselowski? If you're blaming Chase, then you have to blame Joey Logano. If you're blaming Hamlin, you have to blame McDowell. In my opinion, Keselowski and Dibby were the just wrong place, wrong time, basically nothing else they could do about it besides make the move and, hope they're not getting pushed in their ass, as hard as they were, and then, get chop blocked. Logano and Chase both did chop blocks, and then you have McDowell and Hamlin, which, were just driving through them. it's one of those scenarios where, yeah, in my opinion, Dibby wasn't at fault, but that was a Chase Hamlin thing.
Like 2 points about that before making my like actual point. I feel like Logano's block was a little bit more choppy because Elliott barely just scraped across his nose while Logano basically just wrecked him. And B, I think Dibby threw one more move than Keselowski did because Keselowski kind of just went high-low while Dibby went low, high again.
So see how you mentioned that. Elliott moved less than Logano did, but Dibby moved more than Keselowski did. Keselowski still did the 2 moves, and Logano still did the same thing Elliott did, just one did it more, one did it less. But either way, it initiated it the same way.
But what I was going to say is I feel like there's just no blame to be put around on either of those incidents because it's just the product of the racing. It's the Daytona 500. It's the Coke 400. It's Daytona. It's playoffs. Is anyone going to do something different in that situation?
Yeah.
And we all say Austin Dillon's a dirty driver for wrecking Amarola at the 500. But in that situation, are you not just going to hold your car there and hope he doesn't wreck himself?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the reason why this is more controversy than it needs to be is solely because you've got the defending champion locked in playoffs. You've got Denny Hamlin, who's fighting for the regular season championship, hasn't gotten a win this season, but is locked in the playoffs off points. And then you have Matt DiBenedetto, doesn't have a ride next year. He's in a must-win for the playoffs. We're in the closing laps of the race. And then, Chase Elliott wants a Daytona win. So you factor in all 3 of those things, and you're going to be doing anything you can.
It's also just a product of the fans. Yeah. Logano, Keselowski, and Kyle Busch were the big wreckers of the 500. Yeah. Everyone who's not a fan of those drivers laughed and went on because most people don't like those drivers. Meanwhile, you have fan favorite Elliott, fan top 5 DiBenedetto. Those 2 fan bases are obviously going to go at it, especially when Elliott gets a lot of hate for being the fan favorite.
Yeah. And same thing could kind of be said for Dibby. There's a lot of people that hate on him because he cries in interviews, He's only where he's at because of his fans, that's what people say. And, I think both cases are unfair to judge by. But I will say on my own that both fan bases are pretty toxic on their own. But that's not the driver's fault, of course. And when you get these 2 fan bases going at each other that are already very toxic, you've got, wars all over social media going on.
Yeah, I mean, as an Elliott fan, it's easy for me to just say, give up, move on, because we still have 10 races to look forward to, while someone like yourself, just, that was your chance.
Yeah. And for the most part, we look at the playoffs in Dibby's standpoint, he's got three more tracks where, he's good at. He's able to put up good results, being Vegas, Dega, Bristol. But now you're also looking at playoffs, and now you're going to be expected to move out of the way for some of these guys.
Right. But knowing DiBenedetto, if he's put in the opportunity to win, he is not giving up.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
I can't talk. We were wrecked by a guy who got a Mickey win at Daytona. Driven into ARCA style.
Fidel.
Yes.
Speaking of, I do think because of the 500 and the 400 finishes of this year, NASCAR needs to re-implement the idea of, like, if a wreck happens well beyond the finish line, they should be able to race it back.
I say we bring back green-white checkered systems.
I agree.
Well, like, I feel like if a caution happens on the last lap, then that should be the last lap. You shouldn't extend the race beyond what it's probably already been extended because of these races.
Well, then you think about that too, and people, complained about the Indy 500 last year because it ended under caution. A lot of people like the fact where if you advertise a race as 500 miles, it should end at 500 miles.
Well, I think that
502.
opens. I mean, NASCAR fans obviously didn't like that idea because races got boring when they did that, so they tried something new.
Well, yeah, and that's why I do think, if there is a caution on the final lap, then just extend it because you're already extending the race as is half the time.
But I don't think they should extend it on the last lap. I just think they should be able to race it back as long as it's safe. If a wreck happens in like turn 1 and it's something huge, then fine. You have to call it.
That kind of reminds me of Dega last year in the playoffs, when everyone wrecked down the back straight in the Xfinity race, or was it the Xfinity or truck race? No, truck race. Everyone wrecked down the back straight. They called the caution. But in the Cup race, same thing happened. They let them race it back to the line. So why'd you call the caution?
I think they should just re-implement a type of overtime line, but reverse the rule.
Yeah, like if they're
if you cross the line,
then race it back.
Right, because like the 500, yes, that was a huge wreck, and it was scary, fireball, whatever. There was no reason that Elliott and McDowell couldn't have had that side by side to the line and then slow down through 1 and 2.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing, definitely.
Because then it comes down to just the judgment call of whatever bonehead is pressing a button.
Yeah, I feel like there should be only one scenario where a caution's called in, like if they were to do that overtime line rule that you want. The one time that should ever be broken is if catch fencing or wall is destroyed, something like that.
I mean, yeah.
Because then it's completely unsafe at that point.
Right.
But the chances of that happening, I mean, catch fencing's easy to do. The wall's kind of hard to,
I mean, it's just funny that NASCAR does preach this whole safety and stuff, but then puts out, tracks and packages and cars that are
not
meant to have people wreck.
Yeah. Well, anything else to add in to Daytona?
Ryan Blaney got a third of his career wins in the last 2 weeks.
Okay, well, we don't talk about that. It was his first. I love how they were just advertising it that it was like his first win that every single one of his wins had been close, and then you look at this one where they call it caution and he wins.
I mean, yeah, because he's got Pocono, the Roval, Dega, Atlanta, Michigan, Daytona. Oh, he's got 7 now.
Yeah. Championship 4 run, maybe?
No.
Penske doesn't have a Final 4 car out of any of them this year, I think.
Much too inconsistent.
Yeah.
I think Elliott's got the consistency. Byron's got the consistency.
I see him taking 3 of the 4 spots. I feel like Bowman's going to be the odd one out.
You think who?
Bowman.
Bowman, I think, is the easy answer, but
it's going to be it's going to be like Larson.
I mean, Larson does have 52 bonus points, and that's whatever. And it's not my personal vendetta against Larson, but the round of 12, if he does not perform at Vegas, looks very scary.
He'll go win Vegas, probably.
Unless the Benedetto doesn't.
Yeah. Dibby wants his win.
But I mean, all it takes is one Hendrick screw-up, which they seem to love to do on the 9 or 48 these days. And, Larson's taken out of Vegas, wrecks at Talladega, has some sort of issue at the Roval, and those points go fast.
Well, let's say moving forward, because we've got a list to go. Kaulig being a promising Cup team. They put up, pretty good results this year. You had Kaz get a top 5 at Dega. You had, did he get a top 10 at the 500? Or no? Wait, did he?
No.
No. Okay, so it was Dega. He got that. Coda. I don't remember how AJ ran.
I think he finished top 15.
Okay.
It was also the rain, but no, he actually finished top 5.
Oh, was
got
it top
best.
5? Okay. And then yeah, the win at the Indy Road Course. I mean, you've already announced Haley's going to be full time in the car. They said there's going to be a second part time car that AJ's going to run part of the races, but if they find someone with the sponsorship, they will give that to someone full time. I don't know. Does Justin Haley as a driver have the ability to make this team, be good every week? And then and on top of that, does the team have what it takes, to keep it up there? Because it goes hand in hand. Because do they even have an affiliation with any other team?
They might with, well, I would have said Ganassi, but
Maybe RCR.
so
They were
I think it's
maybe
RCR.
RCR.
I think it's RCR.
Doesn't Trackhouse have a thing with RCR?
I think like 3 teams have something with RCR. Because I mean,
That is true.
Brown's team has an affiliation with RCR.
Unless Hendrick wants to get GMS and Colleague on board.
True. I mean, they could do that unless Colleague just wants to stick to themselves.
But I mean, nothing against Justin Haley, but his performances in the Xfinity Series outside of plate tracks and road courses has been okay.
Especially this
year. And Colleague in general, I mean, you mentioned their 3 big winners: Talladega, Coda, Indy Road Course. I mean, it's plate tracks and road courses where where drivers and draft is king. At normal tracks, I feel like Colleague will probably just be that kind of top 20, top 25 car running around the front rows and the track houses and the 23XIs. But then, down the road, perhaps they could break through, get a playoff appearance or something.
Yeah. Fidel?
Yeah, it's going to take some time. I think what college is going to be next year is going to be just like 23XI. It's going to take some time to build off their brand new team in the Cup Series. I don't see them being very successful within the first 5 to 10 races, but give it like maybe race 15, getting near the playoffs. I think that's where they're gonna start branching out and start having good finishes.
Well, for me, I think it's safe to say that the Colleague car is better than the Spire car.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So Haley, his performance in the Spire car, I'm not judging off that necessarily. Plate tracks. He's a great plate racer. He's been able to get consistency in the 77 at plate tracks, so I don't see it being impossible for him in the 16. Besides that, when you go to tracks like Dover, Loudon, you just the more so short tracks, I don't see the car necessarily being the best, especially in their first year. And like you guys said, comparing them to 23XI. I'm gonna more so compare it to Trackhouse, because Trackhouse didn't have that key affiliation like the 23XI car does with JGR. It's not necessarily considered the third car, like how the 23 is considered the 5th JGR car. The 99 isn't necessarily considered the 3rd RCR car. But I feel like it's going to be more so let Justin learn how to drive, the Cup cars more. I feel like they've been doing that throughout the past 2 years. But as a team as a whole, I'm not going to doubt that they can make a playoff appearance in their first year, especially knowing how Haley is at plate tracks. I mean, we saw Michael McDowell made the playoffs. But off of pure consistency in general at every track, I feel like their sophomore season is going to be where it's at. So, 2023 comes around, maybe they will be one of the top teams. You never know. You never know who's going to be in that second car, especially next year. We don't know if that's going to be a full-time driver or not. It's still, to be determined. Regardless, and then another thing, the next gen car, we don't know. Colleague could go in there and be the best team next year. They could be the new Hendrick next year. It's one of those things you look at.
I mean, highly doubtful considering funding wins, but I mean, the next gen car does open up a lot of veteran guys like Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick may not be able to adjust as fast as a guy like Justin Haley, William Byron, Bubba Wallace, someone who's only driven these cars a handful of years.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be interesting to see, but I don't have a doubt that they won't make the playoffs next year. I do think that they can. But their first year is going to be a struggle, probably. It's going to be probably like a Trackhouse season. They'll get, top 10s, top 15s, a few shaky races here and there, but I'm not doubting a win at all.
I just like the idea of more teams, especially competitive teams, coming in, because as we see this year, the playoffs can get very crowded very quickly.
Yeah.
And people always said, 16 drivers is too much. And maybe in 2014, at the time, it probably was. But now, given that we have so many teams, I mean, we have 16 drivers, and 2 of the 4 Stewart-Haas cars aren't making it. The 5th JGR car isn't making it. One of the RCR cars isn't making it. So it can get very crowded very quickly.
The quote 4th Penske car is not making it. Yeah.
I mean, not like he got help from Penske, but
well, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I don't know. Aside from that, how we mentioned Spire, news came out. Starcom hasn't confirmed this or not, but news got out that they sold their charter to Spire. So I wonder what that's going to mean for Spire. What are they cooking up next year?
I feel like they're just in the same boat as like a Rick Ware, because even coming into the sport, their main plan has always, even publicly, been we just want money. Like, they're not really in there to actually build up a race team. If they happen to do that, then cool, but that's not their main focus.
Yeah.
So I think it's unfortunate that
with a guy like Corey LaJoie, I'm sure he's one of these guys that wants to go out there and win races, and then what's he doing?
Well, all the drivers do, even for Rick Ware Racing, as impossible as that might be. But the team itself is not focusing everything they can on building a race team. And I think charters should go to teams that actually care about the sport and actually want to build competitive cars.
Yeah.
I think they should get rid of the charter system. Go back to
you.
the good old days where even the best of drivers can get knocked out and not race on Sunday.
You're opening up a can of worms there.
Okay, well, here's my display on it. It's what I don't like about the charter system is exactly that. The fact that, you're guaranteeing a guy like Kyle Busch week in and week out that he's going to be in the race unless, scenario like Johnson last year, COVID, he had to miss Indy. Annette this year, he had to miss because of his leg or knee.
Right.
Scenarios like that. But I was just watching on I think it was Instagram the other day, a video of Denny Hamlin in the Xfinity series. All he had to do was go beat Mike Harmon's lap. And this was like 2008 Xfinity series. He throws it in the wall in turn 1, doesn't make the show. And that's in the Gibbs car. They had a guaranteed pole lap, but he didn't even need to go for pole. All he needed to do was get around the track in, I think it was like 42 seconds or 32, something like that. But he didn't even need to set a flyer, really. He kind of just needed to drive around. And it's scenarios like that I like seeing. We saw with, I'll use IndyCar as an example with the Indy 500. You have bump day. We almost saw Will Power not make the show. It stuff like that. Top team Penske Racing, one of a former champion of the sport, former Indy 500 winner, almost didn't make the show. It solely based off his mistake during the regular qualifying day. It's stuff like that makes it interesting, where you can not guarantee someone into a race just because, hey, they've got a charter, hey, they're on a top team. It's you gotta actually rely on qualifying being useful for yourself.
I mean, I have 3 points to defend the charter system with. Number one being that I feel like it's so insignificant at this point because there's not 42 cars showing up to the track to even try to make it anyway.
Well, yeah, but in scenarios you do.
In scenarios you do, but another point, you mentioned the Hamlin throwing it in the wall in the Xfinity race. I feel like that makes it a little unfair to the point where if you make one mistake on one lap, it's kind of game over.
Man,
and that's unfortunate.
To that.
But the main point is, imagine, we all are diehard NASCAR fans, or racing fans in general, to the point where if our driver isn't in, we don't really care. If our driver wrecks out early, we'll still watch. But there's a ton of casual fans. I'll use Chase Elliott in this example. How many NASCAR fans do you think would just straight up not watch the race because Chase Elliott isn't there?
Probably.
That is a good point. Yeah. I remember when Junior was in the sport, if you wreck out early, like stands would just file out and just leave immediately.
Exactly. I mean, a scenario like imagine in football where you have, well, I guess football has bye weeks, but whatever. Where just imagine a scenario where you have, week 1, 16 games, all 32 teams are playing, but this team, the Dallas Cowboys, aren't going to play. Their game is an automatic forfeit. Like that the NFL fan base would uproar because, like, why is a big main team not going to play?
Yeah.
I mean, and the scenario, why is a guy like Chase Elliott or Kyle Busch not going to race when you're already low on ratings?
So my rebuttal to the whole if you make one mistake, that's basically it type thing. Take a page out of IndyCar's book. Instead of doing, after every car's made their run at qualifying, that's it for the day, we're done. Do the IndyCar system where it's actually time. So you make enough time during the day to where every car can go through and plus 30 minutes. So if someone messes up and they want to go back out again, the whole 2-lane system at the end of pit road. Left lane basically means they forfeit their lap. They get to go out before the right lane. Right lane, you're just redoing your lap type thing. That would be interesting because then if you make the mistake, then, you can go back out there and try again. But you're also making the risk if you go into that left lane that, I'm forfeiting my lap to hope I get better. That's the thing I wanted to see, especially in IndyCar itself, see that at more races than just the Indy 500 when you have these field caps and more cars show up than, are allowed to race. That's what I think would make the sport more interesting, in my opinion. But that's also coming from someone that considers himself more of an IndyCar fan than NASCAR.
Right, as someone who enjoys NASCAR more than IndyCar, even with the charter system, you still, like, this year's 500, you had, who was it, like Ty Dillon and whatever other uncharted cars.
Colleague,
right, that were all trying to get in. And it was still exciting while not putting at risk the big names.
Yeah.
And people were still invested. And so it could happen. It's just that we don't have those guys showing up. So if you take away the charter system, those guys aren't going to show up to your average Dover race anyway. So why even bother? Why bother taking the risk in the only scenarios where we get that many cars is usually the 500, and that's the one race where you want your big names.
Yeah. Well, I have nothing else to add.
I see it as a EA pay to win kind of
Oh
system.
my god. Nah, we're moving on. Something I forgot to put on the notes, but we'll discuss real quick. JTG announced that they're cutting down to one car next season.
Did they actually?
Yeah, it's only going to be the 47 again. So now there's the debate on who do they keep, Stenhouse or Priest. My opinion,
I mean,
it would be smarter to keep Stenhouse.
yeah, the logical decision is Stenhouse. Because Priest is spending $1 million every other week.
I want Stenhouse because I just want Priest to go down to Xfinity and run some JTR cars again. He was so good back when he was running for JTR. We remember him winning at Iowa in the 18 or the 20.
Well, don't get me wrong, Priest had a very good start to the season this year. Not even being a full-time car, he was above, 16th in points on his own. And then I think it was like 10 races later that he finally fell out of that. But you get a guy like Stenhouse who has multiple wins, he's able to put the car in victory lane. He almost did multiple occasions this season. It's a scenario like that. Would you rather rely on someone that's able to keep your car up there, as a part-time guy, but he's not able to even make it look like it's in win position, compared to a guy that's actually got wins in the Cup Series and is able to make it into position to win? It's one of those.
Well, I mean, and the scenario that even take away everything else, the results itself, the 47 car finished 20th in points with a top 5 and ahead of guys like Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, Chase Briscoe.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ryan Preece finished 27th, also with a top 5, but only ahead of Custer, LaJoy, and Alfredo.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I feel like a lot of the reason people are saying keep Priest over Stenhouse is because Stenhouse hasn't been what he used to be with Roush. And on top of that, we saw Priest do one truck race this year and he ended up winning it. But you're also saying, okay, well, Priest deserves this ride because of his one truck race. Well, in my way of seeing that, the way I see it is, what if he doesn't, have, the, what's the right word for it? I don't want to say
Funding.
talent. No, I don't want to say, it's not funding. I don't want to say talent, but what if he's not ready for that full-time Cup experience yet? What if he is not Cup material yet? What if he's still supposed to be in Xfinity? What if he needed a few more years there to finally develop?
I feel like he is in the same kind of area that like a Justin Allgaier, Daniel Hemrick, or mostly Suarez until, he kind of outperformed the Trackhouse car he was in. To the point where, like, if you put them in Xfinity, they're good and they're a championship contender. But then you put them in Cup and they just aren't there.
Yeah.
I mean, Allgaier is what, like 34, 35 now?
Yeah.
And we've seen him in Cup, not with great equipment, but he's been there and not really done anything. But you put him in Xfinity, he's a championship contender.
See, and that's one of the things for me. It's like, well, any one of these Xfinity teams would be smart to get a guy like Ryan Priest because you know what he's
exactly
there, and he doesn't know his future yet.
Boot Michael Annett.
We don't talk about Michael Annett yet. But speaking of JRM, they made the 2 announcements within the past week. Josh Berry's going full-time in the 8 next year, and Noah Gragson's returning full-time in the 9 next year. Surprising everyone because a lot of people thought Gragson was going full-time for GMS next year.
Who is going to take that ride? Ryan Priest.
Maybe DeBennet. Well, hold on. The GMS ride's part-time. That's the thing. GMS is
part-time. Is it really?
Yeah. I was checking, don't ask why, but I was checking Wikipedia the other day. And yeah, they're the only team that's actually registered as part-time so far. Not even Rick Ware has, so.
Yeah. Technically, Rick Ware does race every race.
Well, they haven't, like, they're 53 and 54 and stuff like that. Like, they haven't
it
as part-time. But
That's
I
upsetting.
don't know. Besides that, you've got Josh Berry going full time. I think everyone fucking wanted that.
Yeah.
And then Noah Gragson, I feel like a lot of people are half and half. I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, get him out of here. And a bunch of people that are like, woo, yeah, Gragson's back.
I mean, I like Gregson, and I would love to see him make the jump to Cup, but he's not ready.
Yeah.
So, glad he's at least back.
Fidel.
Yeah.
You gonna chime in?
I mean, it's Josh Berry.
Yeah.
8.
What about Noah Gragson?
I mean, it's Gregson in the 9.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
this guy's- Thanks, Booger McFarland.
Fair enough.
True
on,
Madden
you know,
commentators out here.
for real. These next two we're gonna flip. Alpine announced that they're keeping Alonso for next year, so that means
Ooh.
their current lineup, Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso, stays. I have nothing to really comment on that. I was kind of expecting it to begin with. I don't know.
It was Alonso that was his 200th GP at Spa, right?
It was Ricardo.
Yeah.
Oh, Ricardo, that's right. I was confused between the two. I was gonna say hopefully they keep him on until number 300 because 200 was kind of
Meh.
blow. But if it's Ricardo, then never mind.
I don't think there's anything that really needs to be said about it because I feel like a lot of people expected it to begin with.
Get a win once in a while.
Oh, okay.
No, I love Fernando.
Well, we can talk about the former Formula One driver gone IndyCar.
Yeah.
Romain Grosjean. Been a huge head turner in IndyCar. You know, got his first pole, got his first podium, multiple top tens, had his Oval debut at Gateway, had a fantastic run. I believe he even got a top 10 there. He got announced. It was first announced by Racer Magazine and Motorsports.com that he would be replacing Ryan Hunter-Reay next year at Andretti Autosport in the 28. I honestly think
really?
this is fantastic.
He's replacing Hunter-Reay. Where's he going?
Hunter-Reay is still undetermined. A lot of people
That's
speculate
tough.
he's going to IMSA next year, probably. So he's just
Anyway, woo, Romain.
In my opinion, I love it solely because now you're building a team off Colton Herta, Alexander Rossi, Romain Grosjean, and then whoever gets the 29 car. Because Hinchcliffe is still undetermined. Then
I did not.
Go ahead.
I didn't even expect this morning. Grosjean to Andretti. Like, I just thought since DHL has been there since the start of Ryan Hunter-Reay being there, the partnership is just going to be continuing into next couple of years. But this was something.
Well, we don't know if DHL's staying or not. That's still unknown.
I feel like it'd be hard to believe that Andretti would bring in Romain without at least something worked out.
Yeah.
Whether it's with DHL or a Romain sponsor himself.
Yeah. But I don't know. But you know, thinking about this, you've now got 4 people actually that don't even know if they have a ride. You know, you add Ryan Hunter-Reay into that mix. On top of that, you have Simon Pagenaud, both, you know, former champions, former Indy 500 winners. Then you also add in James Hinchcliffe. Then you add in Jack Harvey. You know, these guys don't know where they're going. Meyer Shanks got a second car next year. Penske's got another car next year. Andretti still has the 29, and if they decide to keep the 98 and make that full-time again, you know, like, what's going on with IndyCar? Where are these guys going? I don't know. That's still hard to figure it out.
We got until what? When's the IndyCar season start? March, April.
Yeah.
Got until then to figure it out.
I think IndyCar is going through a phase where the most recognizable and iconic drivers you've seen for like past 10, 20 years are now going away. And you're starting to see these new faces going up into the sport, and you have no idea about them.
It's what NASCAR did 2014 to 17.
Basically.
What?
You lose Dale, you lose Jeff, you lose Tony, you lose Jimmy later on, you lose Matt.
2 years, you're gonna see Will Power retire, Takuma Sato, maybe even Graham. That's another one. Takuma Sato, he doesn't have a ride next year.
Oh.
You know, former
Indy 500 champion,
2-time Indy 500 winner, yeah, or 2-time,
yeah,
2-time. So yeah, that's weird. It's like, what are they gonna do?
I mean, they'll figure it out, and if NASCAR is any indication, as we're seeing the clear mark, like with last year and this year, IndyCar down the line, these young guys will come up, perform, and become fan favorites themselves.
Yeah. Well, I'd say moving on to our final two topics, as we're almost at an hour's worth of recording. Netherlands predictions.
Max.
I'm
Super.
gonna go with Bottas. I feel like he's gonna do something.
All right, so welcome to the end of the show.
I don't know. I'm not buying that.
I think there's a very high likelihood Bottas spins out in one of the banked corners and just loses.
I think Bottas is going to up his game after seeing Russell get his first set.
Yeah.
He also got outperformed by Russell last year in Sakir.
Fearful of his ride.
Yeah, he's kind of shitting bricks, as some would say.
Basically. But I feel like Bottas will actually do something. I feel like maybe a win, maybe second place, as always. But I feel like it will be something better that he's done this season, like Hungary, where he absolutely decimated the top 6.
I mean, maybe bias speaking, I just feel like it's hard to root against the hometown hero coming off a Spa win, Mickey Mouse, and but Spa pole. He's closed the gap. He's been fighting for the championship all year. The only races where he's finished outside the top 2 is where he's gotten decimated. Hard to bet against that guy.
Well, for me, I'm betting against both the top teams.
Bruh.
Mercedes ain't coming home with the win. Red Bull ain't coming home with the win.
Max.
I'm gonna go out on a long shot, and I'm gonna say McLaren takes home a win, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be with Lando Norris.
See, I'm a Ricardo fan, and I knew you were gonna say Lando, but part of me wished you said Ricardo.
Here's the thing. I feel like you two know me enough to know I'm not a fan of either McLaren driver. But I honestly see Lando pulling something out. I feel like we're getting our other surprise winner of the season. How we had Ocon. We're getting Lando Norris's first win.
I don't know. I don't know enough about the circuit. I mean, the drivers don't know much about the circuit itself either.
Except for Max, he tested the track.
Max.
It's his track too.
Exactly, but I mean, as a collective group, they don't know much about the track. We don't know much about the track. Difficult to make predictions until we figure out who's good in qualifying.
Well, now we do have. Wait a second. Looking at our next topic. Why is the truck race on a Sunday?
For
Canadian Tire.
No,
Canadian
no.
Tire's on Sunday.
Wait, this Sunday?
Yeah.
That's Darlington.
Darlington for NASCAR? Or like for the Cup Series and Xfinity
No, it's
Series?
Darlington for trucks as well.
It says Canadian Tire on Google.
On the NASCAR app, it says
Well, that's
Darlington.
Google. You're
Okay.
really gonna believe Google over its own source.
Wait,
On-
it has them both listed. It has the Chevrolet Silverado 250, and then it has NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoff race at Darlington. Both.
I have.
labeled.
It's called the In It to Win It 200 on the NASCAR app at
What
Darlington.
in the Google's high, bro?
But either way, it's still on Sunday at 12:30
Why is it on FS1?
because it's trucks.
Do
Is
they
the
not
cup
show-
race on Saturday night?
Well, no, I didn't.
No,
know.
the cup's on Sunday because it's Labor Day. It's the Southern 500.
Yeah.
So why are they both on a Sunday?
Who knows?
Is there anything going on Friday?
I don't know.
It could be that. Is there I wonder if there's a college football game.
Still.
No, ESPN has that. No, I don't know. Unless it has something to do with the hurricane, but that's also
Maybe.
doubtful.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just weird. But yeah, Sunday morning's truck race. Well, anyway, truck predictions. I'm going Hunter Nemechek. I feel like that's, safest bet.
I mean, yeah, that's
Yeah.
Can't bet against that
arguing that. Okay.
I just look at
who won the Darlington race.
Probably Hunter Nemechek.
No, Sheldon Creed did.
Oh. Yeah.
yeah, because
Hunter
the
Nemechek.
huge one happened entering one.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
but he also did dominate that race.
I'm still saying Hunter Nemechek.
And then KBM.
Well, at least
equipment
this
too.
final stage.
Like,
But
I mean,
Yeah,
KBM
probably
equipment is
Hunter
KBM
or Creed.
KBM equipment is like a double-ended sword. It's great equipment, but it does not last that long.
Old McLaren moment.
Xfinity.
They're at Darlington as well.
Or are they? Are they racing?
No, they are. Yeah. Why is it a day
Um,
race? Anyway.
I'm gonna go with Allgaier.
Yeah, probably.
Does
Could we
Junior
get a
make
Daniel
this-
Hemrick win?
I mean,
No.
I want my Daniel Hemrick win. When
Daniel
is
Hemrick
Junior,
gets
when's
first
Junior
win at
doing his
Darlington, then
start? Is that
qualified.
Richmond that he's racing?
Yeah, I think Junior's racing in Richmond.
I mean, probably that's where he
I
raced.
didn't remember if it was Richmond or Darlington. Because I would have said Junior.
Richmond.
Yeah.
Well, as much as I want to say that, Hemrick would win, I'm going Austin Dillon.
Is he racing?
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen the.
Oh wait, come we forgot Reddick racing in Xfinity. So yeah, screw Allgaier. I'm going with Reddick.
Hey, yo!
Who do we have in this race? I'll look through. We got Sam Mayer. Really? Keep on going. Keep on going. There's Tyler Reddick. Yeah, and GMS equipment. I assume it's GMS. It's 23.
I thought Austin Dillon was
It's
racing.
our motorsports,
Oh, well, same thing.
which they do have a win this season.
Austin Dillon's and Jordan Anderson. Jade Buford. That's the guy.
That's the guy?
It's gonna be Denny Hamlin.
Oh, is he right? Oh!
Yeah.
Oh! Well, he's gonna get his first
Actually,
win of
Denny
2021.
Hamlin's gonna get his patented Darlington win and then get DQ'd.
He's gonna finally win a race in 2022. Oh, wait, never mind. I think that's kind of dumb that. Oh wait, no, they're not in the playoffs. I forget about that.
Yeah, they don't go to the playoffs until what? Bristol's their final race, or is Bristol their first race?
I think
Like,
Bristol's-
on-
Bristol's their
the
final
round-
race. Vegas
The round-
is their round of 12.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna see Denny Hamlin get his first 2021 win. No, I'm still going Dillon though.
I'm sticking with Reddick.
Josh,
What?
who are you picking?
Oh, Denny Hamlin.
Oh. So we're all
mean, you
going
can't-
Cup guys. We're all going Cup guys for the Xfinity race.
It's Darlington. How can you bet against the Cup guy?
It's Reddick, who's a guy who's always ripping the fence.
Okay, but it's
well-
Denny Hamlin at Darlington.
That too, yeah. In Joe Gibbs
Yeah.
equipment.
But also, it's Denny Hamlin at Darlington.
In 2021. I mean, if he says Hamlin wins the race, if Hamlin gets the checkered, he's right on that. If he gets DQ'd, that's not Josh's fault. That's Denny Hamlin's fault.
I'm just going one over and just predicting the DQ as well.
Yeah, he may score he may score it all right here.
Like I got the 1 to 3 bet that he'll win, and then there's like the 1 to 500 bet that he'll win and also get DQ'd. And that's what I'm taking.
Wasn't it like last year that Hamlin walled someone and then let Brandon Jones, out of all people, win the race at Darlington?
It wouldn't surprise me.
I thought it was Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I
No.
know Kyle Busch tried walling Chase Briscoe.
Kyle Busch tried wrecking Chase Briscoe.
Yeah, and that pissed me off so much because of what was going on.
Exactly.
With Briscoe, and it's like it's just
Like, don't
oh
hand the guy the win, but
yeah,
don't wreck
just-
him if he's going to.
in his own series too.
Right.
At least Chase Briscoe.
Well,
won the fight.
We already have a history of Kyle going to lower series
shut it,
and
you
wrecking
Kyle
people.
Busch fan.
Ron Hornaday Jr.
Yeah, I'm still mad about that.
Bro, how do you people look at that and just be like, yeah, this guy's fine?
We like to forget that moment.
Okay, and then
Okay,
you
what
say-
about Dale Jr. at Richmond? What about Chase Elliott at Darlington? What about, I don't know, countless other
Well,
times he's
Junior-
wrecked somebody?
Junior got his payback, and Chase got his championship. I think
What
that's
is the
fine.
championship?
That does
have
not
to do
mean
with
anything!
What, Mickey?
That doesn't. Hey, yo, what? No, that doesn't mean anything. Just stop wrecking people on the racetrack. It's not that difficult. He cries a river when Harvick moves him out of the way at Loudon, but then the week before is saying, if you don't like it, don't even watch, after basically trying to dump Larson.
At least Larson liked it.
Oh, shut up. Anyway,
You're one of those. You're
You're one of
say
those
it, but I
Kyle
know what
Busch
kind of
fans.
person you are.
You're one of those people.
you
Get out
know,
of
I'm
here.
gonna leave it at this. You're a victim.
I know my favorite
That's what
part
it is.
but that one makes it funny.
No way.
You think the Bush rule should apply for all of motorsports?
He's the type of person that calls Kyle Larson sprint car wins Mickey Mouse.
No.
He's the type of guy to be manning the caution button and be like, "Oh, it's Rick Ware. We're not doing it."
Well, yeah, he would if it's Cody because he's a Cody Ware band.
Oh no! If Cody Ware even got a slight tap, there's an immediate caution. But anyone else, nah, it's fine.
It's like whenever we'd get a caution for Jimmy Johnson getting out of the groove. Oh, Johnson or Gregson's out of the groove. The caution.
Oh no! Junior lost the lead. Not anymore.
Oh no! Kurt Busch is in the pit. Call the race.
Whoa! Chase Elliott's out front with not enough gas. Guess we'll call it a rain-shortened race in the rain.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the
Let's
cup.
move on to
race.
Cup.
Yeah, Cup. Who's
Chase.
winning Cup? Chase.
Chase.
I think he gets dumped by Kyle again.
No, he's been in position so many times to win a crown jewel. He should have won, or at least had the chance at the spring race last year. Easily should have won the fall race last year, not getting wrecked. So, give it to Chase.
Fidel.
I'm actually a bit confuzzled on this one. I really do not know.
Confuzzle. Oh my god.
I don't know who to pick.
You want me to make a pick?
Sure.
It's gonna be a Hendrick car, but it's
Yeah.
not gonna be the 5 or the 9.
Meh.
It's gonna be Bowman, huh?
No, it's gonna be that 24 car.
I was gonna say, if you have to pick the 48, you have to pick the scenario of how Mickey Mouse it's gonna be.
Larson and Elliott are battling for the lead on the last lap, and before they wall each other, spin out, wreck. Bowman takes the lead, wins.
So just Kevin Harvick last year.
Yeah.
Well, so is that it?
I think that's it. Wow, that was a long one.
That was an
Jesus.
hour and 10 minutes, and it just hit the 30-second mark.
The long one.
The long one at Daytona, and then the short one at Spa. Okay.
Whoops.
Didn't say that. The FIA is gonna hunt me down.
Extra Netherlands prediction. We'll get a race.
Shut up. Well,
Feel bad for someone who bet on that last weekend.
Imagine someone just bet like, oh yeah, Lewis will go from third to first, and they're just like, nah.
imagine someone actually bet Russell like got a podium.
Someone did. I saw someone bet Russell podium, and they bet like 300 and got 5,000.
Jesus. Okay. Well, I'll end it off on this. I'm Jake Scarborough, joined by Josh Miller, Fidel Fabian.
So
That
Ooh.
was the end of that. Don't let the mafia hunt you down. And by mafia, I mean the FIA. Start.
We are
hunting
not a
down-
terrorist organization.
they want they're not giving up that money. So if you were at Spa, go get your go get your damn money back.
Just storm it like Area 51.
Exactly.
I can't let you down. They'll probably get scared of rain again.
Just like start getting hoses and start hosing down the FIA.
Just start
Yeah,
seeing Men in Black to your door, sir. Are you a fan of Lewis Hamilton?
All right. Well, I think that's time to call it.
So, are you a fan of racing? Well, yeah.
What is your thoughts on the Spa race last weekend?
Pain. Pain but joy. It's vice versa of Sakir last year.
Just you're gonna be in immense pain after we invite ourselves into your house.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week with a
Bye.
bunch of stuff. I don't even know what to say. See you guys next week.